Hello everyone, welcome back to Slovak with Sam, and in today's lesson we are going to be looking at noun gender. So in this lesson you will learn what noun gender is, why it's important, how to identify noun gender, and the most important conjugation paradigms for the noun genders. So first of all, what is noun gender? It's a concept very foreign to English, however it's a concept that is present in many world languages such as German, French, or many Slavic languages, such as Russian. So in Slovak, nouns have gender. This means that every single noun, including names and objects, will have a grammatical gender assigned to it. So for example, a notebook, zošit, would be a he, a male grammatical gender. And similarly, for example, woman, žena, would be the female grammatical gender. And this does not always agree to actual gender, like real gender when we think about it. For example, the word for dog, pes, will always be of the male grammatical gender. Probably the biggest outlier, which is also the outlier in German, for example, the word for girl is dievča, and that is of the neutral grammatical gender. So Slovak has three noun genders. As I've already mentioned, there's the male gender, there's the female gender, and then there's the neuter gender. So what does this do? What does this noun gender do? Why is it important? First of all, it's very important because it will dictate to us which personal pronoun we will use to refer to that noun. So if you had a dog and you want to refer to it while, not mentioning the word dog again, which is what pronouns are for, you would have to pick the personal pronoun appropriate to the noun gender. So in this case, ten, pes. Or, well, in the pronoun form, on. So you will remember when we learned how to conjugate verbs, we learned that the third person singular was on, ona, and ono, and that is one for each gender. On for male, ona for female, and ono for neuter gender nouns. So that is why that was very important. Noun gender also influences anything that is attached or related grammatically to the noun in question. So for example, if the noun is a subject, then the verb will sometimes agree with the noun in conjugation. So verbs in the past tense or in other tenses can be conjugated differently based on noun gender. We will get to that later though. It's nothing for you to worry about yet. Similarly, any adjectives that relate to the word will be different based on noun gender. This will always be the case. So you would say a pretty dog and a pretty woman with a slightly different form of the word pretty. So in short, noun gender is very important. And in this lesson we will go over all of the grammatical gender stuff and we will learn all of it. It's quite simple, it's just a very foreign concept to many people, so it will take time getting used to. However, I want to lay out all the information for you so that you have the notes and you have the knowledge to be able to fully understand noun gender and never be confused by it again. So let's start with the first gender, the masculine gender, mužský rod. So mužský rod is used for male names, most animals, male job titles, and most nouns ending in consonant. Once again, these rules are not hard and fast. There are a ton of exceptions. These are just general tips to help you guess a little bit better. So we use ten to refer to them in the nominative singular and ti or tie to refer to them in the nominative plural. We use ti for the first two conjugation paradigms and tie for the remaining two. So we have four paradigms: chlap, hrdina, dub, stroj. So when do we use these paradigms? A quick note, what is a paradigm? A paradigm is simply how a noun behaves. So when we conjugate a noun, all the nouns in the Slovak language will fall pretty neatly in these four categories. All nouns of the male gender will be conjugated the same as one of these four words. Obviously there are a few exceptions, however most nouns, really most of them, will fit within these four little neat boxes. Now how do we identify those? Well, in the masculine gender it's actually quite easy. Masculine nouns, as the only nouns in the Slovak language, can be subdivided further into two different categories, living and not living, životné, neživotné. Living ones will refer to living things, while not living things will refer to everything else. So for the living nouns, we will be using the pronouns ten and ti, and these will refer to men mostly. And for neživotné, we will be using ten and tie, and we will refer to everything else, for example, tables or trees or machines, and as well animals. I've put a little star next to animals because that's not always the case, and you could refer to animals as living. However, that is a very semantic thing, and we would probably not discuss that for a long time. However, let's go over the living paradigms first. We have chlap, so any single living thing, so a male name or a male job title such as Professor or George, then we would conjugate them with the chlap paradigm. However, if they end in a or another vowel, matter of fact, we will conjugate them according to hrdina. So now to the not living paradigms, there are stroj and dub. This basically means every single non-living noun which is male and ends in a consonant will be conjugated based on these two. So stroj if it ends in a soft consonant, and dub if it ends in a not soft consonant. So for some practice, you can do this on your own. Pause the video now if you want to do this. You can practice setting the gender of the nouns. You have the hints in the top right. I'll read the words out and I will then show the answers. Stôl, nôž, šampón, kameň, Adam, hrad, koláč, hokejista. So here are the answers, but to keep the video short, I'm going to be moving on. If you want to look at the answers, pause the video now. Ženský rod, feminine gender. So what is feminine gender used for? Once again, it's used for women, so female names, female job titles, as well as many nouns ending in vowels. However, once again, it's just a guideline. Really, there is no knowing with nouns. You will have to learn the grammatical gender of most words. However, you also have to do that if you learn French or German, so shouldn't be a surprise here. We use ta to refer to them in nominative singular and tie in nominative plural. Once again, there are four paradigms: žena, ulica, dlaň, kosť. However, this time we do not have the living, non-living distinction that is unique to male nouns. So for female nouns or feminine nouns, we have a different distinction to separate and help us narrow down our selection of which paradigm it is to two, because it's much easier to set than to know which paradigm it is. So we have those that end in a vowel, those are žena and ulica, and those that end with a consonant, dlaň and kosť. So for those that end in a vowel, we will be looking at the consonant right before the vowel. So if there's a soft consonant before the vowel, we will be conjugating based on ulica. And if there's a not soft vowel, so either hard consonant or a both-way consonant, then we will be conjugating based on žena. So if they end with a consonant, though, it'll be a little bit more complicated because we will already need to know one conjugated form of the word to be able to say which paradigm it is. So if the noun in the nominative plural ends in e, we will be conjugating based on dlaň, and if it ends in i, we will be conjugating based on kosť. So that is the sad truth, that we have to learn the plural of some words to be able to identify the paradigm. Luckily though, many dictionaries do indeed contain the plural form as well as the genitive form, so you'll be able to easily identify the gender. Once again, some exercises. Feel free to pause the video and try these out yourself. Vôňa, hus, husy, pieseň, piesne, kniha, dcéra, panvica, Elena, noc, noci. So once again, there are the answers. Feel free to pause the video if you want to check your answers. However, not make this video way too long, I'll be moving on. So, stredný rod, the neuter gender. So the neuter gender is used mostly for inanimate objects, but it's not always the case. We use to refer to them in nominative singular, and tie to refer to them in nominative plural. Once again, there are 4 paradigms: mesto, srdce, dievča, vysvedčenie. These are super easy though, because once you know that a noun is of neuter gender, identifying its paradigm is as simple as looking at the last letter. If the last letter is o or it'll be mesto. If the last letter is it'll be srdce. If the last letter is a, it'll be dievča. And if the last letter is a diphthong, it'll be vysvedčenie. It's as simple as that. So really, once you know something is of neuter gender, you immediately know the paradigm, based solely off the last letter of the nominative singular. Another little bonus fact for those who are maybe a little bit more advanced with Slovak: when conjugating nouns of the vysvedčenie paradigm, 2 long syllables may follow each other. I will have a video about why this is important coming out sometime in the future. It's a little bit of an advanced pronunciation concept, however, I'll get to it sometime. If that doesn't mean anything to you, don't worry about it. If you needed to hear that, good for you. Once again, for some exercises, you have the paradigms in the top right, once again. So feel free to pause the video and fill these in on your own. I'll be reading them out and then showing the answers. Múzeum, ovocie, miesto, líce, cesto, počasie, jahňa. So there are the answers. Feel free to check them. Pause the video now if you do want to. And that'll be all from me today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope this wasn't too much to process. Once again, just learn the genders. No need to learn the paradigms just yet. Make sure that you've memorized these properly though, because they will be important for everything else in the future. Every time you learn a noun in Slovak, which you might be on your own, make sure to learn the gender with it as well. So in my vocabulary from now on, wherever I mention a noun, I will also be mentioning its grammatical gender, usually simply by indicating with the pronoun ten, ta, or to. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. I will have a vocabulary video coming out on Wednesday, which will already contain some grammatical genders according to the nouns that they are representing. It will be quite easy for you to remember though in that video. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, bye!